Hello.
Hello?
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Good.
So how do I get my, you want me to see my slides or?
Yes, so on
share
your
screen?
side, yeah, so on your side, do you see share screen?
I do.
Okay.
Let me just send this email. You caught me, see? Okay, let me just tee this up.
And it's a little bit dark. You're showing up dark on your side. Are you able to get some light? There you go. It's a little better. Perfect.
Actually, I can put the lights on. I don't want to be on the screen. I just want the slides on the screen.
Okay, so if you don't want to be on the screen, you can turn off your video then while you're talking.
Got it. I mean, I can, I don't mind.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hang on a second. All right, are you seeing my screen?
Yes, but it's on a display where I'm seeing the next one already. That's better. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is, I guess, hit stop. Let me see whether I'm able. So what I'm going to do for now is when I do this, tell me what happens on your screen.
Nothing.
Okay. So on my
Jennifer League has started screen sharing.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, I see. Just Mercy. That was a great movie.
I know. I want to share that people to check it out, especially being today, June. Oops. Yeah.
I watched that movie before all this craziness started.
I know.
Great movie.
I wanted to, but I was waiting for me to get it free. So once they put it for free, then I was able to get it.
Got it.
For me, this is what you're seeing. Are you seeing that on your side?
On the chat, type in how long you've had your Maryland license.
Yes. Okay, perfect. So that's what I'll be showing. And in the meantime, I will also be playing some music.
Okay.
Yep. And now let me see on your side, if you can tell me what happens. If I hit stop share, what happens on your side?
Now I can go back to showing my screen and moving my slides.
Got it. Okay, perfect. So that's how it will just flow. And if you want to not be on video, you can turn that off. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'll turn my video off because I just want them to see the screen.
That's okay.
They don't need to see me. I'm wearing a Three Stooges shirt on top of everything.
That's okay.
Did you see, Brenda? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Did you see the email from Jen about the after yours? I got another email from her today.
I briefly saw an email. I just got off a Zoom meeting and then started this one. So I saw it, but I've not read it.
Okay.
So I'll read it when, and I'm gonna assume, it's saying hold off on Wednesday. That's what I'm gonna assume.
I think it is.
Okay.
You got some good music going on there.
Oh, thank you.
Please station your callback. My number is 443-509. I missed the site. This is 56 to give you a call.
I feel like dancing, Brenda.
Me too. That's why I play it. Welcome, caller.
Bringing you the best mix of music from across the globe. It's none other than DJ Shinsky, live in the mix. Log on to www.djshinsky.com.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. We are going to be starting in about a minute or so. I'm still getting people asking how to get on. So right now, while we are getting ready to get started, I would like to welcome you to the third session, I believe, that we're doing as part of education. My name is Brenda Kasuva. I am going to be directing you through this particular session, working alongside with Brian Sachs, so don't get confused. He's still on. I'm just getting started. GBBR is closed today as a moment of reflection on Juneteenth. So I am here guiding you through this particular session. To get started, since we probably had over 20 something people that registered, so I know a lot of them are going to be joining us later on. The way it's going to work is engagement will be done by the chat function. How do you find the chat function where you're able to type in your message? Is either at the bottom of your screen or at the top of your screen is the button that says either chat or you will see more. And when you click on more, you will see chat and then type in your answers. So right now, if I'm using an Android phone that I'm looking at the bottom of the Zoom, I will see my microphone, I will see a video camera icon, I will see share and then participants and more. When I click on more and click chat is where I am able to type in your responses. So right now I have received responses from Carla, welcome, 19 years, awesome. Brian has been in the business for 35 years. Probably I'll change the question to how long you've been in the real estate business. And Edward has been in the business for 27 years. Wow, awesome. So Charles, let us know. Charlie, let us know how long. Oh, Charlie, 36 years. Awesome. Edward is showing up twice, so I'm going to assume it's 2 people logged in. And we shall be starting in a couple minutes. I don't know where all those people are. So if you don't mind, guys, I'm going to kind of shift a little bit. Bear with me. Sometimes, you know, people register for the session and then they forget, right? So sometimes we have to remind them. So I'm going to be reminding a couple people that they should be on. Don't worry if your screen is looking, you're just seeing my video. Don't worry about that. We shall be sharing our slides in a couple minutes. I'm just going to remind people, hey, jump on, join us. Let's see. Yep, 25 people. So if you're already on the call and you had registered and you get an email reminder, you can delete it. I'm just sending another email reminder to all these 27. Yeah, Brian, you're famous. 27 people registered for your class.
Oh, goodness.
Yes, and we only have 7. So usually my experience has been they forgot. I did send an email yesterday to remind them, but I know life takes over, so I'm taking a couple of seconds to send them the reminder again. We shall still continue. I'm just giving them a couple minutes to join on. So I've sent everyone a reminder. And we shall come back to you. Let's see. This session is being recorded. If you'd like to watch it time or share it with others at your office or your colleagues and your team, feel free to do so. It shall be posted on the GBBR website. There you go. See, they're all coming in. And I don't know why your screen is looking different where you're seeing the stuff that I have to do. My apologies. We're still going to keep going. So if your screen kind of has the pop-up, or for example, what you're seeing here, that's not supposed to be showing, but we shall keep moving. Let's see. Let's get started. The education committee came together, and as volunteers of GBBR Education Committee, we have people who are going to be going through the sessions, including myself and Brian that is on the call. In case I don't know you yet, I haven't met you yet, let me introduce myself. My name is Brenda Kasuva. I am currently the chair for the Education Committee. So a couple of us are doing sessions for you. My role today is just 5 minutes of your time, and I will be on the background filtering the questions you have for Brian and making sure that we have a smooth, a smooth training today on the topic that Brian is about to present. So just 5 minutes of your time listening to me, which is getting into education. So getting into education means that I direct you to where you're able to find that information. That's what I'm doing. When you go to the GBBR website, I'm going to talk about just 3 things that you might need to know or share with others. First is next week, we are doing another session. We're doing them every Wednesday and Friday through mid-July. And right now I'm already getting feedback that we might continue doing them, but not as frequent. So in the future, when you want to attend the coming sessions, where do you go? On the GBBR website, there are 2 places. You can click on classes and events, which is the same place as you clicking it there at the top. Or if you scroll down on the page of GBBR, you will see where it says virtual classes offered. These classes do not have CE. They're just for your professional development. Clicking on the classes, you will see the calendar that breaks it down for you what is scheduled for each Wednesday and Friday for now at 11:30. And they're about an hour. So next week when you come back and check us out, you would just click on the date July 1st, and then you will just click on that link presented there for you to register and join us. On July 1st, we are going to be talking about searching and getting information on ground rent. The other part of our education is continuing education. Some of you have been licensed for a while, so you know that every 2 years, you are expected to take continuing education, mandatory topics broken down to legal updates, fair housing, code of ethics, and then you have brokerage, relationship, and disclosures, which is agency, and then you have electives. So I know I went too fast through that. This is because I am assuming that you know, or guess what? You will find out because the Realistic Commission does send you a reminder letting you know what you need to do before you renew your license every 2 years. So as a broker, manager, or team leader, there's a required mandatory course that you would be taking, which is supervision. So why do I bring this up? Is right now, whatever location you are right now, it's probably not at GBBR. And some of us, it might take us a while for us to go into large gatherings. Therefore, you do need to be aware that we do offer online CE. Online CE right now that I'm talking about is what I call on demand. On demand meaning that you start and stop anytime you want. You go as long as the session is or short as the session allows you to go. When you're doing it online, since you don't have an instructor, the added layer to it is that there are quizzes as you go through the particular course. So that is something that might work for some of you. Where do you access it? Is by going to the GBBR website, click on Online CE, and we have, I believe, over 12 different options that are available to you. You would select which type of license you have, and then it breaks it down for you, the different options provided. The credit hours that you're seeing is just how long the course is. Some of us can go through this in 2 hours, that's fine. And the cost presented right now is a discounted price until, I don't know how long it takes. The next time we shall be able to have as many people as we can in a room, and people are comfortable with that. So this is just a list of the CE classes that are available. Coming soon, we're still planning it. In fact, Brian and I are collaborating as one of the ones who might initiate where we offer a live virtual CE class. So that's being planned right now. The Real Estate Commission has allowed us to do that. When we get to that point, yeah, you will know about it. We shall definitely be sharing with you where you'll have the option to do virtual CE like you're experiencing right now with a live instructor listening. You're listening on your device. CE is not the only education available. We do have professional development courses. Now, I differentiate the two in that professional development just means I'm not getting continuing education, but it is working towards my skills or niche or niches, whichever way you say that word, where if I want to get more skilled in working with buyers, then these courses go through that. So if you want to get familiar with the RPR tool, Realtors Property Resource Tool, then this is an opportunity for you, and the cost are $35 for these sessions. As a real estate educator as well, the learning doesn't stop there. So we are aware of what day today is, hopefully Juneteenth. So June 19th is a day for reflection in 2020 for you to just check amongst yourselves or with yourself and see what you could do better. And we only grow and we are different based on what we read, the places we go, and the people we know. So 2 books come to mind that that you might want to explore. If you haven't already read them, I just have one of them, Not in My Neighborhood, that kind of breaks it down how Baltimore was shaped and what still continues today for you to get an idea of history. The other one that I have is this one, and my background is not working for me. Sorry, The Color of Law. That's another one, another book that has been recommended. I just got mine and I'm going to start reading it as well. Lastly, probably for entertainment purposes, 2 movies come to mind. I teach in fair housing. I'm definitely gonna be watching again, The Banker, because it goes through how these 2 gentlemen created their own bank. Just Mercy is a great movie that some of you had watched before. If you haven't checked it out, you can. It is free in all the different outlets. And now I take it over, or rather I pass it over to Brian, unless there are questions. While I'm shifting over to Brian, I'm going to kind of remind you of how you are able to share your questions on the chat box by clicking on More and clicking on Chat. So Brian, I think you're ready. Let me know.
Okay. All right. So Brenda, you know, I wish we were in a room together because I think you deserve a big round of applause and a standing ovation for all the hard work you do on behalf of GBBR. So I just want to thank you personally.
Oh, thank you so much. You are welcome. It's a pleasure working with you.
So let's jump in, everyone. I've got 108 slides. So you want to grab a pen and a paper. And if any of you would like a copy of the slides afterwards, you're certainly welcome to email me. bsacks@homebridge.com. That's SACKS. In any case, can everybody hear me and see my screen?
We can hear you, but you're not sharing yet.
Oh,
And while you're doing that, Katie Grove, I see that you raised your hand. Go ahead and activate your mic if you'd like and speak. Go ahead, Katie. I don't know if that was an error, but okay, go ahead.
Hello, how
Yeah.
are you?
Good, how are you?
I am wonderful. Good to
Good.
see both of you.
thank you. Likewise.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I was expecting a question. That was a surprise, Katie. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There you go.
I was expecting a question. Thank you, though. Thank you, my dear. Okay.
All right. Everybody can see, everybody can hear, and we're going to jump right in. Again, you want to grab a pen, because while this has nothing to do with real estate, in my opinion, it has everything to do with real estate. It has everything to do with life. And I hope there are no kids in the room, because I'm going to say two dirty words, okay? Manipulation and persuasion. And for some reason, we view both of them as dirty words. I'm not sure why, but you know, when you are speaking to a child wanting them to go to bed, you must use manipulation and persuasion. When you are working with clients, you must do that. At some point, when the restaurants open up and the world opens up after COVID, and you or your partner, friend, or spouse want to go to a movie, and by the way, the movie Brenda recommended is an awesome movie. I watched it, and really, it was tremendously done. But you will have to use persuasion and manipulation, or you'll be going to a movie you don't want to see. So let's jump in here, because I think everybody will be able to pull away one idea that you can use to sell more homes, which is really why we're all here, right? So here you go. We are conditioned, our brains are conditioned to want to make automatic, easy, simple decisions without a lot of thought. That's how we go through life every single day. We look for a trigger to use as a reference point from a previous experience. So I'm going to just share with you a real quick experiment. This was a very famous experiment where there's a line at a copier, and someone walks up to the person at the front of the line and says, "May I use the copier?" 60% of the people said yes. "May I use the copier because I am late?" 94 agreed. "May I use the copier because I have 5 pages?" 93 agreed. So what do we kind of discern from this? We learn from this that providing someone with a reason why will always, always increase your request being accepted. Here, here it is. The word because, that's a trigger. So let me give you another trigger example. A lady in Arizona, she was selling Southwestern jewelry in her jewelry store, and she went away and she told her staff to change the pricing by 50%. Well, here's what happened. The staff changed the pricing by 50%. They marked everything up 50%. She thought they were going to put everything on sale 50% off. Instead, they increased the price 50%, and they sold out, okay? And the reason for that is because of the trigger we have, that high price equals good quality. Not always true, but that's our automatic trigger. Another trigger is authority. You will see that I go on TV, I have a radio show, I write books, I write articles, I'm teaching classes. Why? Because it positions you with authority. You all can be doing this as well. You want your clients to be seeing you as an authority rather than just another real estate agent. So Again, we're going to go right into this because we got a lot of ground to cover. And again, if you want copies of this, I'm happy to, provide it to you. Rule number one, we're going to go through 22 of these rules, but rule number one is reciprocity. We must repay in kind what someone else has given us. The amount of the gift is not proportional to what you might get back. You don't have to even like the person. I mean, think about the Hare Krishnas that used to give out roses in the airport. Nobody really wanted them. They would actually place it in your hand. You would give them $1. You would then throw the flower away. They would pick it up and go through the same thing with the next person. It's why I'll always do you a favor and make sure you know that I did you a favor, but I rarely accept favors in return because it obligates me. And again, I want you to think about how you can start using this in your own business. Why are loan officers trying to take you out for lunch or coffee? Not that they can right now, but when things were good. Anything of value can be given. Doesn't have to be high cost, but it has to be high perceived value. What I'm doing today is perceived value. It's reciprocity, right? So here's some ideas you can use. Have a free consultation, but make sure that consultation has a value because your hour has a value. How about free reports, free information? I have the ability to give away free vacations and cruises with every application. How about a monthly newsletter? I saw a realtor giving someone, he was having a contest. He's in the Lutherville, Timonium area, and he was having a contest where one of his clients this year would win 1 year's worth of their mortgage payments being paid for them. I think everybody wants to be his client and have that opportunity. So again, it has to be something they want or need. Can be little throwaway things. Can be a consultation like I have here. The time you spend with someone can also be a form of reciprocity. And I'm one of those old school loan officers that I actually prefer to talk to a client, meet with a client. Even during COVID, we have masks and, everything else, hand sanitizer, desk sanitizer, door sanitizer. I still prefer to speak or meet or Zoom with a client rather than have someone just fill out an application online and go through the process. That is a form of reciprocity. So, think about all of these things. The big idea. Maybe you could have a housewarming party for your clients where they can invite family and friends and you can have a client appreciation event. I have agents that deliver cakes during the holidays. Look, here's the thing. They get to know, like, and trust you, and people must know, like, and trust you before they will ever do business with you. I'm going to skip this because this is a little bit more advanced. But I will say this to you. One of the things is contrast. So I will often say to my processor, I need these 4 deals submitted today. And she will say, are you nuts? Look at the pipeline we have. And I'll go, okay, no problem. How about just submitting this one, which is really all I wanted in the end to begin with. So you can always make a bigger request and retreat to a lower request. It's like the Girl Scout and Boy Scouts. You'll often hear them come and say, well, could you buy $40, one of each of these cookies or this popcorn? And they'll retreat and say, well, how about just buying one when you say no? Same concept. So let's talk about commitment and consistency. This is really important for you as an agent. Once a person makes a choice or commitment, we are programmed to behave consistently with our choices, even, you ready for this? Even if it's not in your best interest. We act consistently with our choices, even if they're not in our best interest. So it becomes an automatic trigger. The key here is to have them choose you and act accordingly. Everyone prefers not to have to think all the time. That's where our power is. And the key to making this work is to get the prospect to make the commitment. Once they do, they will act consistently with it. For you as a realtor, you know, I have them sign a pre-approval, pre-qualification form. I have them send me their W-2s, their pay stubs, their bank statements. Yes, it helps me write a strong pre-approval letter, but the psychological reason for it is it makes them committed. Doesn't happen 100% of the time, but it sure works 90% of the time. And so you want to have them sign a buyer-broker agreement. Yes, you want to do that for legal reasons, but I see a lot of agents just throwing people in cars or meeting them. First of all, you know, there's a lot of crazy people out there right now. It's not a great idea, male or female, to go jump in your car and meet somebody you don't know at a house. If you think you're losing something, the reality is you don't have anything. Let that person go through some hoops first and show they're serious and make a commitment with you. Don't have a fear of having them sign a buyer-broker agreement ever. That is commitment and consistency. Here's what I do. I make them sign this pre-qual form. I make them give me their documents. And, you know, I push people for written testimonials. When you push someone for a written testimonial and you're constantly asking them for a testimonial, you know what that does? It makes them then start referring you because they want to act consistently. You know, there was, I'll tell you something really big about commitment and consistency that is really crazy. Years ago, I was in the 90s, I was managing a fairly large office and still producing as a loan officer. And I had a loan officer who couldn't get out of his way. Sweet guy, still friends with him, couldn't get out of his own way. And every single day I'd have agents calling me screaming about him. He forgot to turn the loan in. He forgot to do this. He said he did that, but he didn't. And I kept seeing the same agents over and over again calling and complaining. And one day I said to one of them, I'm just curious, and I don't mean any disrespect. You're always calling here and screaming and upset about this person. Why do you continue to use him? And they said, well, we're just used to it. You know, we're just, we love him. We think he's great, but, you know, his service leaves a little bit to be desired, but they're just so used to it. You know, they're like pre-programmed. Same thing, you know, concerts use this. If any of you have been to Friendly Farms out in, you know, northern Baltimore County, you actually pay for your dinner before you even get seated. Same thing with a concert. Once you've waited in line, made that commitment, you know, you're going to be very, it's going to be very rare that you don't follow through. Let me tell you this, there are also some very unscrupulous loan officers out there. And what they will do is bait and switch you. They will give you, and I hate to say it because it embarrasses me in my profession, but what they do is they quote a lower price than they have. They schedule an appointment, and when the client gets to the appointment, they say that, you know, unfortunately rates went up, but, you know, let's move forward. It didn't change by that much. Really kind of a bad way to do business, but it does happen. You know, it's the same thing here with buyer's remorse. You always hear about buyer's remorse, but the more you can start getting them to get mentally involved in the process, the better. One of the things we do, obviously, is we ask for appraisal fees up front. We do that because we have to, because now the appraisal won't be ordered without it. But even so, years ago, I did it as just a sign of making that person make a commitment. And then finally here, people buy for emotional reasons and they justify their decisions with logic. And then you make them act and commit to being consistent with it. So what does that mean? Gee, you know, I think your furniture would look awesome in that room. What do you think? Those sorts of things are really what get people to start acting and imagining in future pacing. Rule number 3, again, we got 22, so I'm going to fly by here a little bit. Rule number 3 is social proof. And here's the reality. And by the way, all of you ought to get this book. It's called Influence by Robert Cialdini. Influence by Robert Cialdini. I think you'll all raise your game knowing this. So social proof, and again, I teach all of this to loan officers. So some of these things are some of the tricks we try to do to get realtor business. So pay attention. Reality. No one believes anything you say about yourself. And if you look at most of the ads in the mortgage business, in the title business, and in the real estate business, we all seem to be screaming louder than each other or trying to. And the reality is no one believes us anyway, okay? People believe what others like them say. So the best things you could possibly have are social proof and testimonials. I have one of my agents, and I just suggested to her that she, we all know this thing, the key at settlement and handing the key. Yeah, that's all great. But I'm going to give you sort of a bonus tip. Think about all of the reasons a buyer wouldn't do business with you, all their fears, okay? And try to get a testimonial from your client to address each and every one of those fears and make it as specific as possible. Here's one. Didn't think my house would sell that quickly. Didn't think that during COVID I would be able to purchase a home. Didn't know homes in this area existed. I mean, there's all sorts of fears that people have. And what you need to do is address those fears, not because you said it, but with a testimonial. The other thing is you have to always make people feel that there's a great demand for your service. You will often, returning a phone call right away is not always giving you the best perception, okay? Sometimes, think about a restaurant, right? You go to a restaurant and there's 2 of them on the street. One of them has 2 cars in the parking lot and looks a little dingy. And the other one has 38 cars in the parking lot. You go to the one with the 38, right? You always want people to feel that there's great demand for your services. Mr. Sachs is on the phone with a client. He would be happy to call you back when he's done. Mr. Sachs is in a loan application and has 2 more back-to-back. What's the number he can reach you at in a few hours? Mr. Sachs is just finishing up an application and will be with you shortly. So you got to think of those things. Here's another very creative thing that I do that gives social proof, okay? I actually had these signs created, and you may see them around town. Another home financed by Brian Sachs. I put them right in the front yard the day of closing. I have the people sign and agree that they can do it. People often think it's a for sale sign, and they call me. If you've worked with me or know me, you may see that I hand out these sorts of flyers that are a collage of newspaper articles, testimonials, and what the Daily Record, the Owens Mills Times, the Baltimore Sun. Again, not to sound arrogant, it's not about that. It's that nobody believes you, but they believe what others say about you. Again, take a photo of them in front of you and them in front of their home. What was their situation before? What is it now? What were their fears, and how did you help them? If any of you are my friends on Facebook, you'll see, I'm closing probably about 20, 30 transactions a month. You'll see 15, 20 of these every month. And I try to tag my agent that referred the client to me, so we both get a little bit of mileage out of it. But this lets the world know you did a good job. The company I use here is a company called socialsurvey.com. And what I like about them is that I don't have to do anything. It's set up once and it posts to LinkedIn, and Facebook. I don't have to do anything, which is what I like, by the way. Liking, rule number 4. People need to know, like, and trust you. That's how Tupperware was built, right? With the home parties. The first step in any persuasion or manipulation is to get the person to like you. And so why do people like you? And you may not agree with any of this, and that's okay. Doesn't matter, because it's all factual and it's been studied scientifically. So, do with it what you like, but we associate attractive with good, smart, honest, and intelligent. Doesn't mean it's right. What you wear, how you're groomed, how you smell. We like people naturally. This is the reptile brain, okay? It likes people of similar personality, similar status, similar dress, similar beliefs, similar lifestyles, similar age, religion, politics. Again, doesn't mean you can't go outside of any of this, but it's just that is a trigger. If it's not being triggered, you just have to work a little harder at it, right? So you can mirror or match. This is really sort of an advanced section. I'm not going to go too deeply into it, but if Brenda's talking to me really fast and we're having a very fast conversation, if I want her to like me right away, I'm going to start talking really fast. We're going to go over all these things and we're going to talk really fast, and I don't want to use the word mimic her, but I'm going to mirror her. If it's a client who talks very slow and in a very soft tone, you want to do the same thing. You want to talk very slow. You want to talk in a very soft tone. And what happens then subconsciously, it triggers them to like you. We like people and things that we're familiar with, okay? It's the reason I go on TV. It's not for ego, and I don't get paid. And truly, I don't even get that many leads from it. It's just that people will say, oh, that's the guy from TV, or oh, that's the guy I just read about in the paper. It's the reason you need to have multiple exposures for people to become friends with you. I always, I teach these classes to loan officers, and I always tell them, aside from Britney Spears, whoever gets married on the first date. So you need to over and over and over again. The reason why I like to meet with my processor, underwriter, and closer is because people are much nicer when they meet you, when they know you, that when you're not just a voice or an email address, okay? Very, very important. Who you associate with matters. Celebrities can help. And one of the things I try to do, and you can see that I've got a great face for radio, right? But there I am, CBS, CBM, NBC. It's because when you are the celebrity, people do what you say. So celebritize yourself. I also use this tool called Bomb, and it allows me to send video emails. So here's a secret technique, okay? Again, the secret technique is being that celebrity, because, I actually have clients who'll say to me, oh, wow, I was just telling my brother I'm working with the guy from Channel 11. It's not because it goes to my head. All of you could become your own celebrities. Each of you could have your own newsletter, your own Facebook page, your own YouTube channel, your own podcast. But think about it. Okay, authority. Everybody wants to work with an expert. What we don't want is to help people and then have them call 4 other agents or 4 other loan officers. Okay, so I became the national expert on working with buyers that have had a bankruptcy, foreclosure, or short sale. I am the national expert. Anybody want to know how I became the national expert? And Brenda, I can't see the chat for some reason, but maybe you can call it out. Anybody want to know how I became the national expert? Okay, so I can't hear you or see you. So I'm just...
Nothing is on yet. So what's your question?
Well, so let me ask you, Brenda, how do you think I became the national expert on working with buyers that have had a bankruptcy, foreclosure, or other credit issue?
You did that business.
Well, the title was available, so I took it, and no one's ever questioned me.
Oh, okay.
So in Jewish, we call that chutzpah, okay? But the reality is all of you can claim titles. No one's ever asked, and I'm not saying you can be a pretend expert. You should never be a pretend expert. But, if you have expertise in the area, jump out there and say it. Clothes can be a symbol of authority. Your car, your pen. It's really funny. I have a Mont Blanc. It's like a $400 or $500 pen. I use it once a year when I'm going to an important meeting. It's cosmetic jewelry, really. I don't even write with it, but it displays authority. People display their degrees. Again, authority matters. No need to be humble. It's really important. And, you know, think about this. The best business card and the best way to establish authority and the best way to start getting PR is to have a book, and each and every one of you can and should. Scarcity is rule number 6. This is one of the biggest influencers, okay? If you're making an offer, there has to be a deadline or there is no offer. It could be time sensitive or quantity related. When I give away free vacations, it's for anyone who settles by July 31st. It's not forever. If I'm doing something like a free appraisal promotion, it will have a end date. You have to create scarcity. And I'm going to tell you something else. Do you know when you really become a successful realtor? It's when you've created more demand for your services through your marketing than you could possibly ever have time for. So stop being so accessible and start creating demand for yourself. Okay, people naturally want things they can't have. You know, when something is less available, we want it more because we hate to lose. Fear of loss is much bigger than something that would be gained. But in order for you to have a deadline and a takeaway, you have to be believable and you have to give them a reason why. You want to get them involved. That's rule number 7. You can have them take a survey. You can have them imagine themselves sitting on their new deck in this beautiful weather and having a beer or a family cookout. Okay, imagine the money you're going to save, because in Maryland, in Baltimore and Silver Spring, by the way, are the 2 markets where it's cheaper to own than it is to rent. How about the wealth, the generational wealth you're going to create? Imagine the feeling of finally having enough month left over after your paycheck. Here's how I get them involved. I walk them through the process. I have them sign the forms. I get them to give me the information. I send them a letter afterwards, after I meet them. I send them a letter after closing. All of these things, you know, are really, really critical. And again, this is pre-COVID and it'll be post-COVID, but I am still meeting with clients and they'll go, well, why do you want to meet? I can just do this online. Well, let me say this to you. I would prefer to meet with you in person so we can explore all the options. And of course, if there's a health concern, obviously we'll do it over the phone or Zoom. But I prefer to meet with you in person so we can explore all the options available to you and settle on the best solution. You wouldn't want your surgeon to operate on you without first doing a diagnosis, would you? And you know, that's a very simple script, very easy to use. Rule 8, this really should go without saying. I hate to say it, but you know, my initials are BS, so I always go out of my way to be honest. But this one really is simple. Just tell the truth, don't lie, okay? Don't use a lot of hype. One of the things that I'm known for, even with agents that don't work with me, when I give a pre-approval letter, I stand behind it. And most of the agents in my sphere of influence, again, whether they use me or they don't, at least they know that the pre-approval letter is real. And, you know, that's just important. Your reputation's all you got. Rule 9, always provide value and prove it. And, you know, don't confuse value with price. You know this story, right? The plumber comes to the house, the sink is all messed up and clogged, and he takes out the wrench, he hits the pipe. It's about 2 minutes, and he gives the lady a bill for $100. And the homeowner says, $100? Are you nuts? You took out a wrench and you hit the pipe. And he goes, okay, I'll fix it. Hit pipe to fix clog, $10. Knowing where to hit the pipe, $90. So, you know, you gotta, you know, think about this. Show them what it would cost if they don't settle, or they settle with the wrong product, or they settle in the wrong neighborhood, or they settle with the wrong rates and points. Again, people buy with emotion and they justify with logic. Be their obvious choice. Number 10, work on their greed glands. You know, my wife, Sherry, she will go to Sam's Club or Costco and, you know, I need a razor. I don't need 39 razors. I may not even live long enough to use all the razors she's brought in that bag. But everybody likes a big bargain. So, you know, position yourself as the good guy against all the bad agents, against all the bad lenders who take advantage of people. Turn yourself into the hero. Show them the cost of even making a small mistake. Again, I offer vacations and other bonuses. Number 11. So I hope, by the way, I hope you're all getting some good ideas here. I know I'm flying pretty quick, but 11, put your money where your mouth is. Guarantee it. Okay, you should be able to guarantee it. And if you can't guarantee it, you shouldn't be in the business. I'm able to guarantee that you will close on time. I'm able, assuming you know you do your part, right? I'm able to guarantee that you won't have any surprises at closing, other than maybe your costs will be lower, never higher. Afraid of not closing. I could guarantee you that if I pre-approve you and you buy a house and there are no, you know, you got to have some caveats because people do crazy things. You know, you don't want them going to, now that the casinos are open, blowing their deposit money, right? Or losing their job. But assuming everything is the same, I can guarantee if I give you a pre-approval letter and nothing changes, you'll close. Number 12, sell the benefits, not the features. You got to understand something. No one wakes up in the morning and actually says, I want a mortgage or I want a new home. They really don't. They may want to get away from the noisy neighbor. They may want to get away from the foul smell coming from one of the other neighbors. They may want a better school district. Focus on what they want, not the feature, but the benefits. Okay, great place to raise their kids. Owning instead of renting and how that's going to build generational wealth. Always tell them why. Tell them why you're calling. Tell them why you're offering what you're offering, okay? When I help clients who've had a bankruptcy in my mail solicitations to them, I'll say, not long ago, I also had financial problems and was sitting in a bankruptcy attorney's office. I know how you feel. And that's why I dedicated myself to making sure that people in similar situations know the real facts and don't get taken advantage of. Or, you know, if you're doing some senior communities, you might say, this is what I say for a reverse mortgage. I watched my parents struggle and work well into their late 70s, even though they were in bad health. Their house was paid for, but yet they made their golden years very rusty and struggled on their small Social Security checks. All they had to do was take a reverse mortgage and really enjoy the fruits of all those years of hard work. That's why I've dedicated myself to becoming a reverse mortgage expert and helping people in similar situations avoid this. You can plug that in for a realtor that's helping seniors downsize or transition, whatever. Always feel free to transpose this. You have to always understand your prospect. I spend personally a lot of time on this, but here's an idea. There are certain people that are naturally drawn to you, okay? Go through all of the homes you have listed and sold in the past 18 months and find all the similarities, and now you have a group to market to that you know already are predisposed to liking you by age, marital status, profession, zip code. Please understand something. I'm not saying you don't help anyone that comes to you. You help everyone that comes to you. But there is a subset of people that have a natural affinity to you. And look for that and build on that, okay? And that may be your ideal prospect. You need to show everybody home. You need to return every call for anyone that wants real estate. I'm not talking about being selective or discriminating, God forbid. I'm talking about just knowing what your sweet spot is, if that makes sense, okay? But keep in mind, they're never looking for a mortgage. Tie yourself into the news. Tying yourself into a news event breeds familiarity. It breeds linking. You can use the news events, both pro and con, to get publicity. Always be positive, never negative. Be contrarian to any bad news out there. People want to belong. So create something they belong to. Your list of preferred clients. 17 is curiosity. People are always, always curious. I have this report I offer called Renter Secrets, okay? 5 little known ways to get the money you need for down payment. Think you need perfect credit, you may be able to get in with less than perfect credit. Ever wonder why one mortgage company would approve you when another one says no? But you see, they want to know the answers to these questions. There's a publication out there called Boardroom Publishing, and on page 123, to get you to sign up for their newsletter, look at this. On page 123, discover the one food to never eat on an airplane. Guess what? If you're going on a plane, you got to know that, right? So you can also, donate to charities. You can give them surprises. You can do all sorts of things, okay? But use curiosity to your benefit. Number 18, we're coming up towards the end here, folks. Number 18 is EduSell. I think I coined this term, but I'm not sure, so I don't want to claim it. But I educate and sell, okay? And I make them fear doing business with anyone else because I tell them the horror stories. So, in my business, it'll be bait and switch newspaper ads, no points, but you have to pay an origination fee. So I'm actually teaching them how to shop me, and they go, well, God, he must be good and honest if he's teaching me how to shop him. He probably doesn't have anything to fear, right? And remember, it's always easier to sell a cure than a prevention. I make them fear not being able to work with me. I've had this happen a couple times where a client has started with me. I've issued a pre-approval and they went to another lender, and I'm not rude about it, but I will say to them, hey, I wish you luck. I understand. I'm really sorry I couldn't earn your business, but please understand if anything goes sideways with that lender, I'm just too busy to take you back. And I genuinely keep to that and mean it, by the way. Rule 19, keep it simple, stupid. Make it easy. Don't impress yourself speaking in mortgageese and realtorese. The reality is that most people, all they want to know is how much is it going to cost to get in, and will the monthly payment be so I can know if I'm comfortable or not. Don't talk up to them. Don't talk down to them. In any given day, I can have, it's funny because today I have an application for a $1.2 million condominium for a doctor that is a world-renowned urologist. And I'm also doing a loan for $128,000 later today for someone who works for Baltimore County in maintenance. Don't talk up to anyone. Don't talk down to anyone. Talk to them, okay? And don't make yourself feel very impressed if you know some big realtor words, some big mortgage words. It doesn't impress them. It scares them. No one wants to feel stupid, okay? Rule 20, tell them a story. People love to hear stories, okay? And I love to tell stories. And telling someone a story actually creates a bond with you psychologically. Tell them what you did, how your buyers felt, how their situation helped, and what their fears were. Rule 21, be specific. Always be specific. Be specific with price, with costs, with down payment, with mortgage payment. The more specific you are, the more like an expert you sound, okay? Give them hope. And this is rule number 22, folks. Give them hope. There are lots of people out there that just aren't ready to buy a home. And we have some affiliations with a company that helps people with school loans. It helps them consolidate them or get them out of default. We have some working relationships with a credit reporting company. I'm not a credit reporting company, I'm sorry, credit restoration company. My point to you is people want hope. Any idiot loan officer can tell someone, sorry, can't help you. And most of them are doing that right now because they're very busy, okay? Not all, but there are other loan officers out there that actually will take the time and try to explain to them what the issues are. Be honest, okay? You know, you need to do these 4 things, and then we'll follow up with you monthly, or we'll provide you with these companies that may help you. And when you're ready, we'll get you into a home. So, Brenda, I think I've successfully talked for about an hour. If anybody would like to see the slides, here's my contact information. You might want to just take a screenshot here. And that is our presentation. So, Brenda, I'm going to turn it back to you. Is that okay?
Sure. I'm wondering whether I don't see questions. I did put on the chat the book that you mentioned, the book, I'm sorry, Influence by Robert.
Yep, Robert.
The other ones that caught my attention was the socialsurvey.com. So I'm curious, how much do you spend on that?
I think it's $29 or $49 a month. Whatever it is, it's well worth it.
Okay. And then the one that always catches my eyes, anything with technology, the other one you mentioned was BombBomb, where you do the video email.
Correct. And, you know, what it does is it brings that email to life and, you know, again, makes them know, like, and trust you because they can see you.
Right. I did write my notes, checking in with the rest of us. If you have questions, this is your opportunity to ask. Either type in your question on chat, or you can activate your mic. Brian, could you bring your slide again? The last slide, I think we moved too fast. They're asking for your contact information. So go back to that slide. Thank you.
You see it now?
Yes. So somebody's asking for your email. I'll type it in. BSAX Homebridge, right?
Correct.
Okay. So this is your opportunity for you to ask questions. You can click on your microphone and ask your questions. We're not that many. I don't see any other questions, Brian.
Okay, so God bless everybody. I hope everybody got at least one takeaway that you can use. And,
Yes.
I appreciate you, Brenda, and I appreciate being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, Brian. As always, thank you. Everyone else, have a great day. Hopefully we'll see you in the other upcoming sessions. And happy Father's Day for those who are going to be celebrating or honoring someone for Father's Day. Thank you.